Cool. All right, so we're live. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Empath Insight Power Panel. Today we will be discussing what is sovereignty? What does it mean exactly? What does it mean to us? And we are curious for our listeners, what does it mean for you? What do you think of when you hear the word sovereignty? My name is Melanie Marisol, and I lead fabulously wealthy women seeking spiritual sisterhood into their courtesan's journeys in my secret sorority, the Pleasurati.
And I'm Lorna Stell. I help empaths and highly sensitive people to heal their chronic illness symptoms by releasing self-loathing and self-judgment through a deep connection with their intuition.
My name is Marina. I help women root deeply into their personal power. I'm a self-love advisor and divine feminine healing guide. You can visit me at S.O.S Guidance if you want to learn more.
Great. So today we're discussing sovereignty. It has been a theme has been popping up in my life with this very on-brand sweatshirt, Property of No One. So I'm here to ask you guys on the panel, what does the term mean for you? And for any of our listeners listening, if you're watching live, please comment below. If you have questions, please comment. We will respond to you. And we are also curious to hear what you think. If you're watching the replay, please use hashtag Team Replay. So, Lorna and Marina, when you hear the term sovereignty, what does that mean to you? And is there an example that you have exercised it in your life?
I feel like sovereignty is, well, it's interesting. Of course, I was curious and I was like, let's Google it. So I Googled it. And the original definition is for countries and nations, like being being a sovereign power, being like I'm going to butcher this, but being like the controlling force of that nation. And yeah, kind of feels like being able to act independently. So I think applying that to people and beings that live on the planet, yeah, it feels like it's almost like if you're going to define sovereignty, it's maybe important to look at what sovereignty is not. And what we like to do as humans is, sometimes give our power away to other things, to other people, to say, like, I can't make my own decision about whatever, or I can't, follow my own, what feels right for me, even like follow my own intuition because of what XYZ person over here is doing. And kind of seeing life as, well, I'm in response to other things rather than I'm going to act from my own sovereignty, my own inner authority, not authority being this kind of like really aggressive force, but authority being, it's almost hard to put to words, actually. Like sovereignty being an authority being, I have my own, it's like, I don't know, I have my own way of being in the world and there is nothing wrong with that. And I have my own inner guidance within me and I don't need to get that from anywhere else. I don't need to, there's nothing I really need to get from outside of myself. I can just act from who I am and being who I am. And if we want to respond to other people, things like that, situations, of course, that's totally fine. But not seeing yourself as a sovereign being kind of feels like, well, like I can't because XYZ, like it's an automatic negating of yourself. So it feels like claiming your own sovereignty is saying yes to yourself. Like, what is really me? That's actually something I've been doing a lot recently, like in terms of making decisions. And this is kind of a method of like tuning into your body and your intuition as well. Coming back to, does this feel like me? Does this feel right in my body? And so that feels like a method of claiming your own sovereignty is, you know, if I'm doing something reactive because I'm afraid someone will be mad at me or because I think someone else won't like it, that feels like not being in integrity and not being in sovereignty. I feel like integrity and sovereignty go together. And for me, integrity feels like, yeah, just is this me or not? Or am I trying to like shapeshift myself to almost anticipate, you know, what I think other people are going to approve of? So it feels like sovereignty is claiming, like, I know who I am. I know I can act from my own grounded center. And there's nothing else I need to do. That's all I need to be, really. And everything in life can flow from that. So I'm actually like verbally processing it right now as we talk about it. So I would love to hear both of your thoughts as well.
Would you like to
Yay! No, I like that. Oh, I think I'm on a lag. Was
go ahead? Keep going.
oh, okay. I thought I heard Melanie. Yeah, I really like that. I also looked up the dictionary definition of sovereignty, and I saw. I think it defined it as supreme power or authority. And so immediately I thought of like the masculine and feminine dynamics. And I think that we live in a society right now that values masculine energy and like power dynamics and like authority dynamics. But I think there's a silent power that's more vulnerable, and there's an incredible strength in vulnerability that I think a lot of people are actually starting to realize now, because it's being vulnerable is one of the scariest things that you can do. It's easy to put up walls. It's harder to remove the layers of yourself and just show up as you, right? So when I think of sovereignty, I think about how powerful vulnerability is and how it's kind of this more soft and like regal, I would say, being like in your feminine energy. And I think that we're shifting into a society that's starting to try to learn how to value the sovereignty in your divine feminine more, where it's less doing and more being, and really understanding how to do that. Because I think that that's something that people want to do, but there's a lot of past, obviously we live in a society where masculine energy is valued, but also like, there's a lot of shaming if like things are easy, you know, or like everything that has to do with divine feminine energy. It's kind of like this, you have to work hard to like get this, and you have to like, if you're not struggling, you didn't earn it. And you know, there are phases within our life. Like I do think that you have to have life experience and things, but it's not about having that be the baseline for everything all the time. And I definitely think that it's finding that inner power and stillness in the stillness within you. And so how do we find that within the human experience and like the chaos that's going on in the world, but still are able to kind of like rest in that, without pushing through or using more of our like masculine energy? And I feel like that's the question that a lot of people have. And that's a lot of what I teach from my own experience, just how to reset and balance your masculine and feminine energies within you so that you can lead with your feminine instead of leading with your masculine. So like self-love in your divine feminine, boundaries from a divine feminine perspective. And I know that Lorna talked a little bit about basically boundaries, like honoring what is true for you and stuff. And I feel like there's a slight difference between honoring and enforcing boundaries. Like one sounds like fun, the other sounds like, or one sounds like it's not fun, and then the other one sounds like it vibes a little bit better. So I think the difference is being on guard versus being aware, like having awareness of your values, vulnerably communicating what those are, and then honoring them. That's a difference between having your walls up and stating your rules and then enforcing them, feeling like you have to enforce them. Like, those are both the same topic. We're still talking about boundaries, but one is coming more from like a masculine energy, one is coming from more of a feminine energy. They're both just as powerful. But I feel like you don't have to do all that, because ultimately sovereignty it's in you. It's that like soft, coming from like a divine feminine perspective of sovereignty. It's that soft, gentle power. And the ultimate trick, I feel like, was kind of society painting the divine feminine as weak, because I think that sovereignty to me is sitting in your divine feminine power like a queen, and just being able to kind of like rest there. So just to wrap it up, I would, if that like vibes with anybody, I would ask yourself, how can I do that today? Not tomorrow, not when I'm like in this place, not when like I have XYZ. I talk a lot about like bridging gaps between, that's really important to me. So you have your desire, whatever it is that you want, you have where you're at now, and then you have the clear action steps that you're taking to get to where you want to be. But I think the key within that, when it comes to sovereignty, is being happy in the present moment before you get over here. A lot of people are like, I'll be happy when I have XYZ. I'll be happy when I go in here. But until then, I'm going to be struggling and upset and like whatever, because I'm not here. And I think that, people talk a lot about that with manifestation, where they'll say, you just have to let it go. You just have to let go. And no one really knows what that means. But to me, the process of letting it go is being happy in the present moment. And because again, like, it's kind of like, what action steps can I take to feel that energy of what I want right now? Because I think that that's kind of the key. And I have like a really quick suggestion for that. Like, when it comes to my relationship example is a little bit longer, so I'm going to use a financial example. But if you're like, oh, I really want to get my finances together, what can you do to be in that sovereign energy now when you don't have that? Maybe you get rid of a bunch of your shit. Maybe you, that's what I did when I was going through all that. Like, I got rid of a bunch of my shit. My closet looked horrible. I was like, how would I act if I had all the money in the world? Wouldn't be holding on to all of this random shit that I have. Also, I would have all of my like, pop-in dresses like up in the front, even though I live in Oregon and it rains all the time and it's not really practical for me to wear those 24/7. So I did that. I made my closet look all nice. When I wake up, like, I have my crystals out, like, all these things. And I felt in that energy, which allowed me to let go and just sit in that kind of power. The other thing is actually something that me and Lorna were talking about yesterday that came from this book, The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. And it's this 24-hour challenge where, and here's the key. The key is that you can do it past the 24 hours, but for the 24-hour challenge, you have like a faith statement, which is like, I am amazing, like, my guides are looking out for me, like, basically something that makes you feel powerful and feel that sovereign energy within you, that you can come back to when you're like struggling. And then it's basically just knowing, like, if something bad is happening, take it as during that 24 hours, it's happening to me, or it's happening for me, not to me. And then like noticing the little miracles in your life and being grateful for them. So waking up and being like, oh, like I noticed when I did that, it makes you more aware of the good things that you usually would like bypass. And then also, it just makes everything all around better. And it's not about getting in your mind, in your masculine energy, and telling yourself, oh, I'm grateful for this, or oh, this bad thing happened. That doesn't bother me. It's about really feeling it. So it doesn't matter if you're just fucking doing it. It's about feeling into your energy. So a good example of this is the second time I did this challenge, the universe really tested me and took Odin out on a walk. Odin stepped in dog shit, walked all over my house with it. I was in my sovereign energy. Nothing bothered me. We went out again. No pun intended, shit you not. He stepped in dog shit again for the second time. This has never happened, by the way. This in my whole life of owning Odin has happened one time, twice on this one day that I was doing this challenge. So walked all over my house again. But I was able, at first, I literally was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I got all upset. But then I was like, what are the good things about this? I get to clean my floors and really deep clean my whole house because best believe I'm not like, now I have to clean everything, even though the floors weren't touched. I have a new guideline with Odin where I hook up his leash on the door so he can't go places before I'm like checking him. And it really, like, that day was a really stressful day for me, and it really helped me to slow down. At the end of the day when I was doing it, I was giving him a bath, I cleaned the house, and I was like, you know what? I was too much in my masculine energy this whole day, and I actually enjoyed the opportunity to clean my house and like get back, like it actually gave something to me. So but I only got there because I wasn't masculine energy trying to force the idea of like being okay. I honored my emotions and let myself be upset. And then I really was open to the opportunity of seeing all these different aspects of things and seeing that, like, how is this for me right now? Like, how is this benefiting my life right now? So anyways, that was just a couple things. I wanted to leave like some tools that you could go through if you're like, yes, I feel that with the sovereign energy and I want to fucking be in my, but those are some easy things that but that's what I think about when I think of sovereignty is being in your like fucking divine feminine sovereignty and not your masculine.
Yeah. And as you're talking to, I feel like something coming up for me was another part of sovereignty feels like fully claiming everything you have in your experience. So like taking the good with the bad and like your light side and your shadow side and not splitting yourself and going, well, this part is good and this part is not. And I don't like this part over here. Sovereignty is being able to be in all of it and knowing that it's all okay, knowing that there's nothing wrong with you and you're not broken and you're not bad and there's nothing wrong with you. And you don't have to like punish yourself for anything. It just feels like if you're a sovereign being, like you are whole within yourself in your imperfection. So that was coming up for me.
Yeah, no. And I think that is the divine feminine, like, power is like, it's not suppressing all those parts and being like, I'm fine, like I'll just do affirmations or I'll just do this. It's like really feeling like I'm a mess, like I'm hella busy. My dog just like walked all over my apartment. I have all this stuff, but like I'm a fucking queen. Like I how is this happening? Like, I don't know. It's like this energy. Like, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But it's like when you finally are able to do all that, it's like just embracing that energy of like who, yeah, exactly what you said, who you are in all parts, and not suppressing everything, you know?
Right. And I will add too with sovereignty. I think for me, it just really equates to sovereignty as free will with your own autonomy. You choose what you do. And we don't go around pushing our agendas or our thoughts onto people because that's just a way to get everybody upset and in an argumentative state. You, of course, need to watch who you're talking to, and if someone's open to listening to you, that's fine. If they're not willing to listen to you, it's not a time to break out into an argument because it's just completely fruitless. But with sovereignty, it's also acknowledging you're your own being. We're living in a weird time right now. It's very interesting where people are trying to express their opinions to you, completely unwarranted. But because you're in your own sovereignty, you can choose what you're going to do with your body, either medically or with tattoos or not to tattoo, or where you're going to live, what you're going to do. And you just say to yourself, like, I'm making this decision. There might be people that disagree with me. That's totally cool because they're their own sovereign being. And we can have a disagreement. We don't have to agree on everything. But I'm also not going to get emotionally upset if we're not in agreement statements. And that's okay. That's where they are. And you have to acknowledge that I feel like with sovereignty too, you're stepping into being blessed and unbothered most of the time. That's what I strive for every day. I'm always striving to be blessed and unbothered because I don't want to deal with it. And it's just stressful. It's not really fruitful to be in a state of I'm in my own sovereignty and they're in their own sovereignty, but it's not in agreement with what I want. So now I'm going to kind of like squash their sovereignty to make me feel more comfortable. When you get into a point in life where, or any moment where you feel like you have to police others so that you're comfortable, you're not in your sovereignty. You're being a hot mess. And it's a time to explore why you feel the need to control other people. And it'll pass. It's more a problem if you just say this, you don't acknowledge it, and you kind of just squish it down. That's not helpful. And Sarah has shared to be in the now. She shared that while you were talking, Marina. So yes, sovereignty is also being in the now, not feeding into a fear timeline because maybe you don't like who is in office, or maybe you don't like how the economy is going, as explained by economists or experts, right? So even if, again, something you're not in agreement with, you're in your own sovereignty, and you have to acknowledge you're going to be okay. And when you have sovereignty, you also acknowledge you have the free will, and that, you know, God, the universe, the cosmos, whatever term you want to use, is really concerned about keeping itself in alignment, right? So even if you choose a certain way, and maybe that's not in your best interest or your highest self or for your highest good, maybe the universe has to take you out at some point because maybe you're on like a drug bender or something. Yes, Sarah, you're right. Keeping the balance. So if you are making poor decisions like doing crystal meth and you're your own sovereign being, you've made the decision, the universe could be like, okay, this person's not getting it. They're in violation of their soul contract. They're out of whack. I'm going to have to take them out at some point because they're not really doing what they were supposed to be doing when they came here. So maybe that ends in you ODing or dying, right? This is a very extreme example. However, you have your right to your own sovereignty, and the universe has its own right for its sovereignty, and to be like, okay, we got to make sure everybody's moving in their highest good, right? So again, I think this is very common too for empath people because they have a lot of feelings and emotions, and they usually are concerned for other people. There's also this desire to want everybody to do well, but you have to respect other people's sovereignty, that they're going to choose what they're going to choose. And that's why many social workers get really hung up with their clients that get into drugs again or they relapse. It's that person's mission. They have their own soul contract to fulfill. So you can express concern one time, and if they aren't getting it, like, you just can't control them. So if you feel the need to control others, it's a time to check your sovereignty out the door. Be like, okay, this is my desire for them. They're not going to listen. They're not in the state to receive my concern anyway. And although it may be uncomfortable in the moment, you just have to let them go do their own thing. So not to be like super intense during this discussion, but that is kind of what came to me this morning. So people are just going to do what they're going to do. So all you can do is move in your highest good and not really stress over what other people are doing. Yeah, so that's how I view sovereignty. I also was told we don't have too much free will apparently, and we can't ever truly be completely autonomous. That's also what I was informed of by an individual this morning, which I thought was weird, because we totally have free will. That's why God created us, and that is why we are on this earth plane as a video game. However, sovereignty is not necessarily interchangeable with autonomy because as human beings, we are social animals. So we can't truly ever do anything on our own, actually. So even though we live in a matrix, legitimately, we have our systems, we have relationships with people we care about, with our loved ones. So truly, you can't really do things completely on your own. However, the decisions you make are your own. I think that's where people get tripped up between the two. So your autonomy has limits, your sovereignty does not.
I like that. Melanie with the words.
I like that. I will also add that there's a little moth in my room, and you know how I love spirit animal messages. So I looked up moth spirit animal because they mean something to me, but I had felt like I was like something is on the internet for this one, and it says people with moth totem are the most optimistic of souls. They can find the silver lining in every crisis, the light in every darkness, and the love in any frustration. No matter how dark things are, you always find a silver lining. You get a reason to smile no matter what. This totem empowers you with optimism. So I feel like that matched what we were saying. If anyone else is feeling that vibe, just you can be great all the time. And like I was saying before, we've all been through some things. So we're not coming here saying like you can just like be optimistic and like coming from a space of like everything's always been right. It's tried and tested. So it is a possibility. But it's not about, like Lauren was saying, suppressing your emotions. It's about feeling them so much that you're able to just embody like this energy,
Right. So we are wrapping up our Empath Inside Power Panel episode. I hope this has made you guys think. Anybody watching either live or the replay, please let us know what you think. What does sovereignty mean to you? If this has been helpful to you, you think someone that you know could benefit from this, please share it with the share button. And we're going to have Lorna and Marina share what they have to offer.
Yeah. So I have my vitality activation sessions that I love to share about. So I feel like this ties in well with our theme, because if we're kind of giving away our sovereignty, it feels like we're disconnecting from our own truth. That's kind of how I see it partly. So in those sessions, you get to have a solid hour of being in awareness of your body and an awareness of your intuition, having a direct conversation with your intuition, and literally just being open to receive as I guide you through that conversation, and just continuing to ask and continuing to dig layer by layer into like what wisdom does your intuition and your body have for you. And so, yeah, if you're in a space right now of kind of overthinking or in fear, or you are feeling disconnected from your body due to things like chronic illness symptoms, or just feeling like you are giving away your power somewhere, whether you know where that is or not, this is a great opportunity to come back into your balanced inner power within yourself in the present moment, and then being able to carry that into the rest of your life and picking up that skill of connecting with your own inner guidance. So I've seen it clears a lot of energy for people, facilitates a lot of healing. It gets energy moving in your body that's been stagnant, and just provides a whole lot of clarity for you that you can't really get from your thinking mind. So Those are available at the link in the description. Yeah, and you can book a time on my calendar for an hour to do that.
Yay. So my area is love, self-love, and shadow integration. So it's really about coming back to yourself and feeling deeply that love and power within you. So I usually say it's prioritizing the relationship with yourself, which in turn improves your relationships with other people, raises your vibration, things like that. I'm doing a workshop soon. And basically it's to help women root deeply within themselves. We talk a lot about the things that we've talked about today, and doing those things and coming at it from a divine feminine perspective. I'm really excited about that. I'm not sure. I had a timeline on that. I do have a timeline on it, but I want to kind of let it flow more and let it like create itself. So it's turning out really good. And I'm just adding stuff to that. But that one's going to be free. You guys can join my unconditional self-love and shadow work community if you want to get updates on that, or you want to join it when it comes out, because I'm going to make it a paid course later on, but it's going to be a free event when I run it. So Melanie has a link for you guys in the description if you want to join that. I also do one-on-one sessions. It's I always say it's your roadmap to finding unconditional love by loving yourself unconditionally. So it's getting together that foundation for yourself. All sessions start with a personalized activation meditation to help you reconnect to your divine feminine power, the essence of your desires, and cultivate a sense of safety within your body so that we can begin to uncover what's keeping you stuck in old patterns. It's really getting clear on what are your desires, what do you believe is blocking you from that, and then it's creating a roadmap to leave you with a clear direction and action steps to start you on your journey so that you can relax more a little bit into your divine feminine, because you're balancing that feminine and masculine. You're getting really clear on where you're going, and then you're coming back to that every day in ritual, which we have set up for you. So if you're single, if you're in a relationship, if you just went through a breakup and you're really looking for that root feeling of wholeness and unconditional love within you, and not attached to other people, or if you just want to form a deeper connection with yourself, then come visit me over at S.O.S Guidance to learn more. And the link is in this description along with the group as well.
All right, fabulous. Thank you guys for watching. And again, if you have anything to say, want us to know, like any questions you want us to answer, or if you want to share your thoughts on what you think sovereignty is, please do in the comments below, and we'll get back to you. Thank you for watching this episode of the Empath Insight Power Panel. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.